I fight with my girlfriend all the time. Actually, I'm kind of fighting with everyone. My mom, my sister, my friends, everyone. Everyone is just pissing me off, and I get so mad so easily. I'm looking for a new job now because I ended up cussing out my boss when he was telling me to do something I'd already done. He said I hadn't shut down the store well enough and he wanted me to start over, so I just lost it. Fired me on the spot. And now I'm kind of worried that my girlfriend is going to break up with me because I keep getting so mad at her. Why am I like this all of a sudden?
Hi, my name is Angela, and this is my friend Dave.
Hello.
Dave and I both work at the Thrive Network, which is located in southern New Jersey. Thrive is a company that promotes innovative and effective strategies to help improve your mental health. Mental health looks a little different for everyone, so it makes sense that everyone needs their own unique solutions. Taking care of our mental health is just as important as caring for our physical health, but often you only hear people talking about the health of our bodies, not our minds and our emotions. All three of these are actually really important and pretty crucial if you want to be living your best life. Everyone has mental health. It's not something you do or don't have. It just is. It would kind of be like saying somebody doesn't have a respiratory system. And just like with our physical health, our mental well-being changes, sometimes as frequently as every day, but more often we go through periods where we're healthier than others. Everyone has good mental health days and everyone has bad mental health days. It is totally normal. Unfortunately, mental health still gets kind of a bad rep in the US. People think that if you're struggling with your mental well-being, it means you're crazy. That's not true at all. At all. No one thinks you're crazy for going to the doctor when you've got strep throat, right? No one accuses you of being insane if you start jogging to be healthier. And nobody thinks you're weird if you take vitamins, right? So taking care of your mental health is exactly the same thing. We should be doing it, and you feel a whole lot better when you are doing it. There are definitely things that you can do every day to help improve your mental and emotional well-being. And if you want to know more about that, you can follow our Instagram page, The Thrive Network. We're always posting tips and life hacks about how to help people take care of themselves on a more regular basis. But today, Dave and I are here to focus on a little bit more of a different part of this topic. We're going to be focusing on what to do when your mental and emotional well-being don't seem to be going so well. You know how I mentioned earlier that everyone has good days and everyone has bad days? Well, a lot of that has to do with our circumstances. There are a lot of life events that affect our mental well-being. You might be going through something you've never been through before, or facing a really stressful challenge. Or maybe you got reminded of something that happened to you in your past, and it starts getting in your head, and no matter what you do, you cannot stop thinking about it. You heard from some of our friends at the beginning of this video who experienced some mental health challenges and struggles that are actually pretty common. A lot of people experience these on a pretty regular basis. You heard them talking about feelings of sadness, anger, worry, depression, anxiety. These feelings matter. But it's also important to look at how these feelings are affecting you and your ability to do what you want to do every day. These kind of mental health challenges can really interfere with what you're trying to accomplish at your job, at school, in your relationships. Maybe life has gotten really overwhelming, or maybe you're facing a problem you're just not sure how to solve. And maybe the things that you normally do to make yourself feel better are no longer working. So how do you know when the problem has gotten too big? How do you know when you might need some extra help? Dave is going to talk to you a little bit more about what to look for, some red flags to keep an eye out for, and he's going to share some details on how to recognize when you might be struggling with your mental health.
Life stressors such as moving, school, or the loss of a loved one can often bring up some challenging emotions or thoughts that we struggle with. It's normal to feel angry, sad, or anxious at times, throughout life, and these feelings aren't necessarily a bad thing. We certainly shouldn't avoid them. Working through these feelings with a professional can definitely be a good thing. It can help us grow and make meaningful changes in our lives. However, when these feelings are prolonged for weeks or months at a time, they can start to negatively impact our normal level of functioning. Here are a couple red flags. Red flag number 1, we might notice changes in our work or in our interactions with friends and family. Red flag number 2, we could have excessive fears, worries, and feelings of guilt about things that we shouldn't ever feel guilty about. Now, if you do something like steal a car, then go ahead and feel a little bit guilty. That's not a great thing. But if you keep thinking about that thing that you said to your mom back in middle school and you still feel really bad about it, that's called excessive guilt. Red flag number 3, there could be a change in our normal level of energy. You might be tired all the time all of a sudden. Or the opposite, you might feel like you never need to sleep and you can still go 1,000 miles an hour. Red flag number 4, we might notice a change in our sleeping or eating patterns. And red flag number 5, small annoyances that wouldn't normally bug us now really get under our skin. There could be lots of changes or signs that tell us it's time to get some help, but it's all about knowing what your specific ones are. So what do we do when our normal coping skills, such as listening to our favorite music or doing some deep breathing exercises, they're just not cutting it?
At some point, other people stop looking out for your mental health, and you have to figure it out all on your own. Most of you watching are about to officially become adults. Some of you already are. And no surprise here, but adulting is hard. When you're in foster care, like it or not, there's always someone kind of keeping tabs on you, making sure that you're doing okay. And maybe you found this really annoying, but you did have a social worker whose job it was to connect you with someone or someplace that might be helpful. But here you are, aging out of that system. And many of you might find yourselves in charge of everything about your life all of a sudden. Let's be real, that's intimidating and can be really overwhelming. So let's say you're facing some really crazy life experiences and you're noticing some of the red flags that Dave just talked about. Where do you even begin to get help? One of the first things you might want to do is find a person that you know from some kind of professional role. Maybe a teacher, a coach, a pastor, even a doctor that you liked. If you already know them and trust them, it makes reaching out a little bit easier. Tell them about some of the red flags that you're seeing, and if you feel like you can, tell them a little bit about what's going on in your life. Most people in those kind of jobs have at least some knowledge of the resources that are out there that you might find helpful. And if they don't, I can guarantee you that they will at least know somebody who knows something. When you recognize some of these red flags for yourself, or if you're just facing some really tough times and you know it's affecting you, we want to encourage you to get help for your mental health. This is where a counselor or a therapist can be awesome and really, really helpful. If you've already worked with a therapist or a counselor that you liked in the past, you can always reach back out to them or at least to the place that they worked. They may or may not be able to see you again for counseling, depending on what's going on with them, but trust me on this, they will be really happy to hear from you. And they will definitely know how to hook you up with another therapist who can help. There are also some really great websites that New Jersey's put together that you can use for yourself to look for a therapist or a counselor, someone that's right around you. It's really important to find a therapist that you feel comfortable with and that you like, so it's totally cool to take some time and look into them online and see who sticks out to you. Here are a few websites that make this whole process really easy. The first one is nj211.org, nj211.org. You may have heard of 211. You can actually either call it or look it up online. There's a ton of resources on there. The second one is njresourcenet.org, njresourcenet.org. This website lets you click right onto the county that you live in, so it only shows you places that are closest to you. and you can look up mental health support under the Health Services tab that's at the top of the page. Another one is called myresourcepal.org, myresourcepal.org. With this website, there's 2 search bars. In the first one, you put what you're looking for example, counseling. And in the second one, you put the city or the zip code that you live in. It'll then show you a list of places that are really close to you. These websites make it pretty easy to find help for yourself. Not to mention that you can also use the same websites to find a ton of other helpful resources. But even though they try to make it easy, if you're already in a low place, sometimes putting that much effort into getting help still seems like too much work. So again, try to think of somebody that you trust, and please, please reach out to them. Dave's actually going to take a second here to talk about something that's pretty serious, but it's something that Thrive takes really seriously, and we want you to as well.
Everyone has probably either known or heard of someone around them that has attempted or completed suicide. Feeling suicidal or thinking about suicide is something that we take really seriously. It's good to know some of the warning signs for you and for others around you. These include withdrawing from family and friends, giving away stuff, especially the stuff that is the most important to you, frequently talking about death or what happens after we die, having no plans or hope for the future. But it's really important that you remember that there's always hope. All things will pass, and your life is so much more than this current struggle. If you are feeling like you want to die, or you are seriously considering it, here are a couple of ways you can reach out for immediate support. The National Suicide Hotline is 1-800-273-8255, and they provide free and confidential emotional support to people in a suicidal crisis or in emotional distress. You could also use the crisis text line. Text CONNECT, CONNECT, to the number 741-741 to connect with a crisis counselor. Finally, you can use an online chat at the website imalive.org, IMALIVE.org, to talk to someone today. All of these services are free and available 24 hours a day.
So I've gone to therapy every week for the last few months, and so I can better express myself. And I'm happy to report I feel closer to my friends and family now that we all feel seen and heard. And I even got a new job, and my new boss understands when I need more time to work on a project.
We've given you a lot of information today, and we hope the resources that we've shared will be helpful to you. We understand how scary it can really be when you're facing life on your own as an adult for the first time. You've had a lot of support at your fingertips in the past, and sometimes aging out of foster care can feel like you're being dropped off a cliff. It can feel very isolating, and you can feel very alone. But you're not alone. We've got you. Thrive wants to be there to help you navigate through all of this. At a minimum, we want to stay connected with you. You may not need help today, or tomorrow, or even a year from now. But when you do, Thrive wants to be right there, already connected. The easiest way for us to stay connected is probably through social media. So follow us on Instagram at the Thrive Network. Do it now. Grab your phone and search us. 3 words, The Thrive Network. Follow us. As we said earlier, we post some really helpful ways to keep your mental health in check on a daily basis. And when you do want to reach out and get a little more support, you can just send us a private message that way. You can also check out our website, mythrivenetwork.com, mythrivenetwork.com. The website makes it really easy for you to contact us, and we promise we will respond. We don't want you to feel like you're taking this next step in your journey alone, because it doesn't have to be that way. We're one click, one DM, one call away from providing you with the support you need to get your mental and emotional health back on track. Stay connected to us And whenever you need us, Thrive will be there. Thank you guys so much for watching this video today.
Thank you, everybody.